3 weeks before my wedding, my phone rang. It was the venue. Ma'am, we're calling to confirm that your booking has been successfully canceled, as per your request. The reservation has been transferred to another guest. I dropped the phone. My request? I never made a request. I never canceled anything. The only thing I had done was trust my sister. But what my sister forgot, what she never even thought to ask about, was the one secret about that venue that only I knew. And the day she stole my dream wedding, she unknowingly signed the death certificate for her own. My name is Rachel. I'm 29, a middle school English teacher, and the kind of person who color codes her planner and keeps receipts for everything. My fiancé, Daniel, always teases me about it. He says I document my life like I'm preparing for court. He wasn't wrong. And one day, that habit saved me. Daniel and I dated for 3 years before he proposed. He did it on a Tuesday, no grand gesture, no Instagram setup. Just the two of us, dinner at home, and a ring he'd been hiding in his sock drawer for 4 months. I said yes before he finished the sentence. We spent the next 5 months planning our wedding on a tight budget. The hardest part was the venue. Good venues in our area book up over a year in advance, and the affordable ones looked like conference rooms with tablecloths. Then, through a coworker, I found Rosewood Manor, a restored estate about 40 minutes outside the city. Garden ceremony, indoor reception hall, stunning natural light, and, miraculously, still available for our date. I drove there alone, met the manager, walked every inch of the property, and signed a contract that same afternoon. I paid the deposit in full and left with a printed confirmation, a receipt, and a venue manager's business card tucked safely inside my planner. That night, I came home and told my older sister, Nicole. I told her everything, the name, the address, the manager's name, the date, the price. I was so excited. I wanted her to be excited with me. That was my first mistake. Not because she was a bad person, but because I forgot something important about Nicole. She has never, not once in our lives, been happy for me first. Nicole is 2 years older than me. Growing up, there was always a quiet competition between us, one that I never signed up for, but was always enrolled in. When I got into college, she reminded me she got in a year earlier. When I got engaged, she went silent for 3 days. I had started to think maybe she was growing out of it. She seemed happy when I showed her venue photos. She asked questions. She even offered to come with me for the tasting. So when I got that call from Rosewood Manor, my first thought wasn't Nicole. My first thought was that there had been some kind of system error. But the manager explained everything very clearly. A woman came in 2 days ago, he said. She knew your booking reference number, your contact details, your deposit amount. She said you were dealing with a family emergency and had authorized her to handle the transfer. She paid the difference in person, in cash. I sat down on the kitchen floor. She knew my booking reference number because I had read it out loud to her. She knew my deposit amount because I had shown her the receipt. She knew every single detail because I had handed them to her like a gift. I called Nicole. "Oh, thank God," she answered, bright and breezy. "I was literally just about to call you, Nicole." Silence. "Rach, listen. Marcus proposed. And Mom always said the oldest goes first. You know how traditional she is. And you can just move your date. It's just a date, but that venue is perfect for my vision and I didn't think you'd mind because it's not like..." "You impersonated me," I said. "To the venue. You used my booking information and you transferred my reservation to your name. I paid the difference." "That's not the point." She kept talking. Something about family hierarchy, something about how I always got what I wanted growing up, something about how I needed to think of the bigger picture. I stopped listening somewhere in the middle. I hung up, and for the first time in my life, I didn't cry. I opened my planner instead. When I had toured Rosewood Manor, the venue manager, a kind older man named Gerald, had pulled me aside at the end of the walkthrough. "I want to be upfront with you," he said, "because you seem like a thorough person." He smiled at my notebook. "Our operating license comes up for renewal in about 4 months. There were some minor zoning compliance issues flagged last cycle, drainage near the East Garden, a structural note on the auxiliary building. Nothing serious, but if the county inspector flags them again, we could be looking at a temporary hold on events while we resolve things." Your date is safe, he added quickly. You'd be well before any of that. But I'd want you to know, just in case. I had written it down. Date of license renewal. Nature of the flagged issues. Gerald's exact words. Because that's what I do. I write everything down. Nicole's wedding date, the one she had stolen my venue for, was 6 weeks after the license renewal deadline. She had no idea. I sat at my kitchen table that evening with my planner open and my laptop beside it. I spent about an hour on the county's public records portal, pulling up the venue's previous inspection report. The drainage issue near the East Garden was documented. The structural note on the auxiliary building was documented. Both unresolved, both flagged for reinspection. I then filed a formal complaint through the county's public reporting tool, the same one they advertise for residents to report code concerns. I included the inspection report reference numbers. I included the photos I had taken during my own tour, which clearly showed the standing water near the East Garden drain after a light rain. I hadn't taken them for this reason. I had taken them because I was deciding whether to book the venue, and I wanted to remember what I saw. I filed the complaint under my own name. I stated only facts. I included only things I had personally observed. I did not lie. I did not exaggerate. I simply reported what was there. Then I closed my laptop, made a cup of tea, and called a different venue to book my wedding. Our wedding was held at a small vineyard about 20 minutes from home. It wasn't Rosewood Manor. The fairy lights were rented, not permanent fixtures. The catering was a local family restaurant, not a formal caterer. We had 60 guests instead of 120. It was the best day of my life. Daniel cried when he saw me walk down the aisle. My best friend read a poem she'd written herself. My dad danced badly and enthusiastically, and nobody cared. We laughed the entire night. Nicole did not attend. She sent a card 2 days later with a generic printed message inside. No handwriting. Just her name signed at the bottom. 8 weeks after our wedding, Rosewood Manor was issued a temporary suspension of its events license. The county reinspection had flagged the drainage issue as an active code violation after recent rainfall caused a minor overflow near the eastern boundary of the property. The auxiliary building was placed under a structural hold pending contractor assessment. The venue was prohibited from hosting events until both items were resolved and cleared by the county. Nicole's wedding was scheduled for the following weekend. She found out on a Wednesday. She had 9 days to find a new venue for a wedding that 108 people had already RSVP'd to. I know this because my mother called me, in tears, asking if I had anything to do with it. I told her the truth. I filed a public complaint about a real code violation that I personally observed, Mom. That's all I did. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Okay, Rachel." And we changed the subject. Real ending 1 year later. Nicole got married. It was in a hotel ballroom that she booked on short notice, the kind of place that's perfectly fine but looks nothing like a restored manor estate. There were no garden photos. The lighting was fluorescent in some rooms. I heard through cousins that she cried the morning of, and not from happiness. Marcus seems like a decent guy. Their marriage, from what I can tell, is fine. I don't wish them any harm. Nicole and I are not close. We were never really close, I think. I just didn't want to see it. We text on birthdays. We show up to family dinners. We are polite. We do not discuss what happened. She has never apologized. I have never brought it up. Daniel and I just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. He got me a planner. A really nice one. Leather cover, gold pen loop, lay flat binding. On the inside cover he wrote, "For the most detail-oriented person I know. Keep documenting everything. Love, D." I laughed for about 5 minutes. People ask me sometimes if I feel guilty, if I think about what I did, and wonder whether I went too far. Here's what I think about. I reported a real drainage problem that real inspectors confirmed was a real violation. The timing was mine. The facts were the county's. Nicole made a choice. She walked into a venue, impersonated her sister, and handed over cash to steal a dream. She thought the worst thing that could happen was that I'd be upset. She forgot that I take notes. She forgot that I keep receipts. And she forgot, completely, entirely forgot, that on the day I toured that venue, I had written down every single thing the manager told me. Every single
thing.